Hi, very good evening and happy Guru Purab, Kartik Purnima, and Dev Diwali. So, before I start, let's do this customary. Can you hear me? Can you see my screen? Can you just somebody on the chat who's joined over, please confirm? Yeah, fantastic. So, I can see the chat. Great. Great, all of you being here. So, today, firstly, before I start, uh, I would like, I know you would have had a great evening and all. The entire day must have been taking your mind from many places to many things. My first request is let's close our eyes, take a deep breath, and just come to this session and just focus on what is happening today and be here in the session. Any dilemma, any questions, anything which is running in your mind, pause it for 1 minute and come to just 6:30 p.m. at the place you are sitting. Kindly close your eyes and take a deep breath. As I say, focus entirely on your present moment. You are in front of your mobile, laptop, iPad, tab, however it is, comfortably sitting in your chair and in a room. Try to reduce the voice of all the other things that your brains is trying to tell you. This is important, that is important. Just put them aside. Focus on your breathing. Focus on your present moment. Take a deep breath. Hold for 5 seconds. Release. Again, take a deep breath. Hold for another 5 seconds. Release. Open your eyes and feel the moment, feel the time. Hi, good evening. I'm Abhilash. Welcome to the session. The session today is about current affairs and it is entirely about how we prepare our current affairs for prelims, for mains, or for interview. So, from the registration and the circulation of message. So, there are three categories of aspirants who would be watching this either live with us or maybe later recorded session. They are firstly people who are giving prelims for the first time. Second, aspirants who have given the prelims and have given attempts or are giving attempts. They might have qualified for mains, written a mains exam. Then the aspirant who have given interview multiple time, maybe in the service, may have not been seen yourself in the list, final list, but have been to the interview. So there are one common thread which is the edge for this examination, that is current affairs. And I would also like to give a little background on what is different, or what am I trying to do over here when we are aware that with a click of a button, everything is available. There are very good institutes who are compiling a lot of current affairs. There are good magazines. There are some fantastic YouTube videos and YouTube sessions. Everything is happening. But exactly what is not happening? So, with my experience and multiple interaction, I realized that everybody is watching everything, reading everything, but are unable to do everything or recall it. Or for the matter, when it comes to examination, either prelims or mains or even interview, that when we are conversation is happening and we are talking to each other in an interview scenario, even in spite of knowing many things, our presence of mind doesn't work. We are unable to give a relevant, ethical, perspective driven answer. No answer is right or wrong. It is just about that moment when it comes to interview. So I realized that with that, we need to have a session where there is a hands-on. 2 hours you spend fortnightly in this session should be able to create curiosity for you to go back, understand, prioritize what is relevant, how much is relevant you can understand, and as an aspirant mindset, from so many things happening as an update or a notification or a GK update or this that, you can clearly see what is relevant for the exam. So with that matter, this session has been designed. All of you must have received a, uh handout. I have given a handout. If you are carrying the, I don't know how to use this poll, or I want to know if in the chat you can privately say if you have taken the printout of the handout or you have the digital copy in front of it. Can you Did you get a time to go through the uh, handout? Can any of you, at least I believe in democracy, so even if one says yes, it is okay for me. Okay, fine. It's great. You have the handout, you're looking at it. That's great. So it's up to you want to do digital or a printout driven thing. But I'm pretty old school in that matter. So some or other, my way of looking at is, if you have not written in your hand, it does not go in your brain. So your handwriting has to improve and you have to write through hand. Old way, but I think it still holds true for the exam. Till the time the exam is happening, pen and paper, this will be valid. So that's why even the entire program is about printouts and pen and paper approach. Pretty ancient for you guys. But anyway, we'll follow in that. So how I have planned is like, today we are in 15th November. So I would be taking up from 1st September 2024 to 15th September, first 15 days. The next session will be on 29th November, again a Friday. Then I'll take the remaining September month. In this session, I have only uh, two objectives over here, that when we go through the session, when we go through these dates, we are able to create, number one, anchor points. What is anchor point? Now, all of us know that we remember through images only. We do not remember through words. So we remember through images, pictographically. Okay. And everybody will have their unique image. If I say Prime Minister of India, not necessarily everybody will have the face of Narendra Modi ji standing in the uh, Red Fort. They may have a different pose. They may have some other Prime Minister of India. Anything can happen. So it is your visual memory which flashes in your brain. How many of you agree with that? If you agree with that, you can, chat up and let me know. Yeah, great. Acha, yeah, I also wanted to say that how do we make the session interactive? So I thank you for Trishna raising her hand. So you have any query? Is it very urgent? Then you can put it on the chat. Uh, or else, if you're trying to participate with whatever question I put on the visual memory and you're trying to raise hand and say, then also group. But let us keep raise hand as a query in your mind. You have any query, you can you know I got it. So any query you have, you can raise hand. Okay, that ways it will be so I one see, if I let me go I'll request, like, I'm also streaming it parallelly. So what I'll do, I'll just switch on the record button also. So let me complete the session, whatever I have in my mind. You write all your queries in a direct message if you don't want other people to know, or not, in the chat section, and then also raise your hand. So in between the session, I'll take some time where we can have a discussion. I want to be kind of 2 hours. I want to completely focus, and then we can have a one-on-one. Because what happens with the learned mind is, once we open up from here to here, topic to topic, we can it one moves. So if you quite agree with me in that sense, then let us do this way. Okay, hi. So today's session is on current affair. And as a rule, people who are in the webinar room, they can raise their hand and keep on chatting about their doubts, where I also will be asking in between if they've understood. The session today is, if we see, is planned basically for the duration of current affair, which has happened from 1st September 2024 and 15th September 2024. It's a hands-on session, which means that you have a worksheet with you. The worksheet is in front of you, and we go by the structure on which the worksheet is present. My request is all of you to have a printout of the worksheet and work on the sheet, or if you are doing digitally, write on the sheet digitally. However it is, you should go by page of the worksheet. Today's session plan, firstly, about, because today is an introductory session, I would want you to understand who should attend this. This is purely for UPSC civil service examination aspirant. It is not for other aspirant, or it is not actually relevant for people who are giving, in the name of current affairs, just joining the session and not appearing the exam. Because the way this exam or the session has been designed is for every stage of the exam, and taking the trend and narratives of previous year questions. So what happens is, let's value the time we spend in something. So this is strictly for the UPSC civil services examination, or even, in fact, it can be useful for public service examination of different states. So who should attend? The aspirant who is appearing for this exam. Especially people I mentioned in the initial session, people who are giving repeat attempts in the examination, or the first time attempt at any stage of the examination. I mentioned in that. So prelims preparation, mains preparation, and interview preparation. And then final question, is it paid or free? So I'll go by one. The prelims preparation is basically, if you understand current affair. So for example, what is GK? What is current affair? General knowledge is India has a space program managed by Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, and it is a Trivandrum based organization, and ISRO has many launch pad in India. So this is general knowledge. Okay. Now what is current affair? In the month of September, ISRO released who will be flying in the India's first space mission, Gaganyaan. So that is the current thing happened in this year. So this is current affair. This is what is relevant. Now, how UPSC will ask this question? So UPSC will ask this question for prelims question. They will ask you a fact-based question and confirming you whether this is true or not. Are you aware or not? ISRO is under this department or this ministry. These are some fact-based questions. What mains will ask? Mains will ask about Gaganyaan mission and say the impact of Gaganyaan mission on uh, space competition of the world or something like that. They will ask like that. So what is the expectation in same topic? In prelims, you have to be fact-based. You should know what you're answering, clear your clarity of mind, and you round the bubble. For mains, you are able to give perspective how this Gaganyaan mission is going to impact the governance of the system, the development of the state or country, or what kind of development, economical, technological, what is the space age, all that kind of thing, various perspective. That is mains expectation. Now, an interview, they will ask, India is a very poor country. 70% of people are unable to afford meals. In that scenario, do you think it is necessary to send a man to space? What is your opinion about Gaganyaan? Do you appreciate what I am trying to tell? Are you able to understand? Anybody can chat and I'll, yeah. So I follow democracy. Even one vote is fine. I'll go ahead. So this is what is the difference between current affair and at various stage of this examination. And yes, the sessions will be in English. My medium, when I, if you're not aware about me, so I do an orientation session. Yes, fantastic, Akshay. You got it right in the first book. Not the same content, same theme would be asked, but in a different way. Checking your own preparation in a different way. Not exactly the same content. So when we prepare, we have to prepare in that way. You have to open your mind. What are the facts? All this. And like you, when you prepare, there's no end to anything. But what is eye catching? What is relevant? That slowly, when you uh, you know keep on giving the exam and keep on appearing mocks, and you realize what is important. We will also talk about in the session. So these are the five I answered. Basically, who should attend? I answered about how the prelims preparation should be, how the mains preparation should be, and how the interview preparation should be. Is it paid or free? This is a paid session, and this is a one time I'm going to charge, and I'll talk about it in the last stage. And this will be valid till prelims. Only one time it will be charged. And the intention is that bi-weekly we do one session where you get the handout, you get all the perspective. You if you see the handout has some practice questions. You'll get some more practice question differently because I don't want printing, like that. This thing. Second is mains questions are also derived, which I am expecting you to write as an assignment to send back for evaluation. How much ever you want to, nothing this thing. And third is some essay topic is also given, which I would expecting you to write and send back to me. And fourth is if you have qualified for IS interview, when the result will come in December, then you are eligible to join my interview program, where we can discuss one on one on all the perspective which is happening. So there again, and that will be profile based. For example, you have qualified for an interview and you are an engineer, so it's computer engineer. So in your DAF, you would have written that computer engineer and things like that. And then how questions can come to you and what kind of expectation they have. Yeah, so even the November, both the session would be free only till 29th November. And the charge is actually, I think it is 1100 plus GST one time is what I have, 1100 plus GST is exactly what this thing. But I am not send you the link or anything for right now. I'll send you after a week's time, because what I feel is, if you are investing, you should get the return, and you should also have that time to invest all that thing. So, but yes, this is some charge, it has some value to it. So today's session and 29th November, those are free session where I'll complete the entire September. Okay. So that is the plan. Okay. Now coming to today's session, I would want you to now switch to the handout. So in the handout, I hope you're able to see my screen. Yeah. Thank you. Uh, so the handout has something, firstly, uh, for in this date duration, that is 1st September, 1st September 2024, not 2024, 1st September to 15th September. In during this date duration, what is the historical events with respect to India? What is the historical event with respect to the world? Then there is a section of what are the days which we celebrate or observe nationally and internationally during this period. And then we come to the news which has happened, national and international news during this duration. Then I have categorized those news as per the UPSC syllabus. This is GS main syllabus. Then practice MCQ for current affair of all these event which is there, and this is I would say is like, fact based, checking many areas which we don't get an opportunity to discuss in the session, but through answer and explanation you can run through those things. Then GS mains answer writing questions for that. Then there are essay topics, and then there are certain which I may call as perspective matters, IS interview centric topic during that, and that can be generic in nature. And I have also, because as a mentor, I have multiple programs to boost your preparation. I do not have a coaching institute, just a mentoring sessions. So whatever are the programs, I have put it in the worksheet for you for your benefit only. Now let's start today's session. Now, before I start, I think I can take up for 2-3 minutes any of your queries or any things which you have in your mind. uh, you can raise your hand and let me know, or chat. I'll answer. So we'll wait for 5 minutes. This is time to discuss anything which you have in your mind, anything you're not understanding, or any challenge you feel needs to be addressed. You can unmute yourself and talk, or you can write it on the chat. Hmm. Now, my teacher used to say that if nobody answers, either everybody has understood everything or everything has gone top of the mind. Okay, the question is, sir, only current affairs will be discussed in this course. I would want you to experience today's class first. You just attend the class, today's class, and then you understand what is discussed, what is not discussed, what can be, let us do that ways. Because that would be better, because where there is to be put a limit also, we have 2 hours. I mean, now we have 1.5 hours. So, any more questions anybody has? The question was whether only current affair will be discussed or not. So I mentioned that kindly attend the session and understand what has happened over here, and then you can take a judgment. Because if you ask me, then uh, for me there is no subject. Everything is general knowledge. You talk about science, you talk about polity, you talk about geography. Everything is general knowledge. To understand those knowledge, we have created or given them names as subject. So, uh, you student of history would understand that history runs through a timeline. So, like, every subject has a history of its own. So when somebody has a history, it becomes general knowledge after some time. Whatever is current is called current affair. I know this is quite confusing what I said, but okay, no worries. Let's not put our brain in that. Any more questions anybody has? You can chat or say raise hand or however it is, or I shall, if you want me to move on, so just say move on or something. Uh, just let me ask the question again. Can I move on? Can we start this session? Great. Thank you. Now, what happens in this exam? The biggest challenge what we face is we read everything. We are able to get all the fantastic notes from various sources. There are so many beautiful, teams which work together to create a graphically representing lot of one question. And there is, in fact, today's time I see there is Telegram channels. People, they are able to do entire thread analysis of one topic and discuss. So many things are available. But my question is, or my concern stays that many time what happens is we are focusing on the wrong side, and it's like they say, there is a quotation like, if in a room of blind, if you in a room where blind persons are there, and you send an elephant, so what they will do, how will they define elephant? Because they are blind, they'll start touching elephant. So when they are touching elephant, anyone who touches elephant of whatever side, they will imagine elephant is like that. If somebody has touched the legs, they'll say, okay, elephant means big leg. Anybody would have touched the trunk, or this is the elephant. Anybody would have touched the tail, or this is the elephant. Anybody would have not touched anything, because elephant also has height, there is no elephant, because they are blind. Now, what happens is, with their perspective, whatever they have touched and understood, with their perspective, they will talk and explain about elephant. They will write the entire essay about elephant. Do you agree my point? Are you able to understand the example which I mentioned? Yeah. So similarly, what happens is, everybody who is contributing in this examinations process or content, they have there's a mindset on which they create their content, and that exactly reflects when we read. The opinions gets reflected. So this is where UPSC in their notification says that they are looking for a person to join the service, a boy or a girl, who is aware about the current events of national and international importance. That is the only line they write. Now, but your world is limited. For example, if you are from, say, West Bengal, you will see the entire thing, what is happening in West Bengal, as the center priority to you. You will not even realize that there is a state called Kerala where there is district called Palakkad and there is this problem is happening. You will not even focus on it because as a country, we are such a big country, we are unable to give that priority to what is the priority. But a person from Kerala will first give priority to what is happening in Palakkad. They will not be much bothered about what is happening in West Bengal. So, with that kind of a dilemma, I can see all the contents where things happen. But what UPSC is asking somebody who is aware about national and international event of importance. So that is the perspective what we need to build. And I have designed my worksheet in that regard. When we read about the UPSC syllabus, we will realize that syllabus mentions in the GS mains various, history, geography, what duration of history, what time of history, arts and culture, international relation, and what is the Indian polity and governance. Like that, they mention what are the areas around it. It's a broad mentioning. Second, how do we recall things? How, because all these things are happening in a timeline. In these 12 months only, everything would have happened across the centuries. So every day will have a day with some historical importance. So, for example, in interview, what happens? The moment they see your birthday is on 15th August, they'll ask, okay, you share a birthday with a very big event of this world. Tell me what is the event. And then one mind will say, okay, it is my birthday. Or other mind will say, oh, it was the Independence Day of India and other two countries. Or a third person will think, okay, it is the day when partition happened, like that. So these 12 months create some event which are memorable, historical, and also contributing to the development of that particular subject or event to which they are related to. So my first half is like what has happened in India in this 1st September to 15th September. When we revise that, when we talk about that, we are also recollecting our basics, what we have studied in GS, or creating a curiosity that I will, after the session, go and read more about this topic. So that is what objective of this summary. So let's see, 1st September. 1st September, India was drawn into World War II as a part of British Empire without its consent when Britain declared war on Germany in 1939. So if you see the historical sequence, how did India get its independence? Mountbatten Plan. How did that? The first trigger of the event is the part where India was drawn into World War II without its consent. Now, why should they ask consent of India? Why should Britain ask consent of India? They are ruling the country. If you recall, if you have read the history or if you have not read the history, do read it. There was a election, and as per Government of India Act 1936, there was an interim government which happened. So they were creating a small structure of governance, which the Indian Congress felt that there is a leadership or there is an opinion which they should be also taken into consideration, which they did not. And thus the Congress felt that Britisher did the same mistake as they did during the First World War, that they are taking the wealth of India under which they are doing the wars. But as a nation which we have started a governing, we will not entertain this. And the first rift of opinion started. So 1st September is something like this. Second event in 1956, Andhra Pradesh was formed, merging the Telugu speaking areas of Hyderabad state and Andhra state. Now, for this, you need to understand, say today, it is very important also to understand Telangana's history. You need to also understand what is part A state, part B state, part C state, and part D state. In 1950, India was divided into this kind of area where, when in 1950, after Republic, India became Republic. So, before the first election, India had either British India provinces or uh, uh, ruled by the you know these kings and governors of the country. So after the election, they in 19 their State Reorganization Act, they formed a bill under which they divided India into Part A, Part B, Part C, Part D states. When the State Reorganization Act happened in 1956, the first movement was started in for Telangana or Telugu speaking state. Why? Because there was something called Madras province, which was having people of both language speaking, and and the Madras province was very big province. So that was divided into Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh. Similarly, many states were divided on the linguistic basis. What is linguistic word? It is on the basis of language. So that happened, and the first state which was formed out of it was Andhra Pradesh in 1956, 1st September. I'm not trying to create a lecture of the entire thing. It's a pure polity effect, states, formation of state, and I'm sure people who have done it would recall things about it. Now, here you need to remember, as a part of general knowledge, these two concepts are very important. Or world events or India events. Let us come to 2nd September. 1946 formation of the interim government of India led by Jawaharlal Nehru, and which laid the groundwork for India's independence. Now here, this interim government of India actually had selected people for writing constitution. So this happened in 2nd September. 2019, one of the update is like whenever you are uh, talking about India's defense forces and kind of preparedness. So you can mention in your opening line of essay something like this event which happened in uh, Lucknow Agra Expressway, the kind of infrastructure we are ready with. So it has a lot of impact, and also government puts a lot of money in building such infrastructure. If as a civil servant we are not aware about it or mention it in our answers, then what is the point? So hence, as an aspirant, we take a note of such development also and write it in the essay or somewhere we can use it. Otherwise, it's just a fact. Moving on, 3rd September. In 1965, India-Pakistan war, uh, India started the counter offensive, and Operation Grand Slam in J&K. It was named as Operation Grand Slam. In 4th September, in 1986, India and Pakistan signed the non-attack agreement on each other's nuclear installation. So, and which is effective since 1991. So this two powerful state became nuclear enabled, and there is a history, and there is also a web series on this story of how the nuclear arsenal of Pakistan was spied upon, and India brought it over to the UN and all that thing. In 1980s, when Cold War was happening between Soviet Union and Russia, Soviet Union and USA. In between, they agreed that they will drop down or reduce the nuclear weapon arsenal, so that for the existence of the world. And there was a treaty under which, resolution under which, all the nuclear nations were to reduce their nuclear arsenal. So during the same time, India and Pakistan, uh, you know, India was always open about its nuclear program, but Pakistan had its own intention and they were buying from Iran, North Korea, and things like that. So India kind of exposed Pakistan's such act in the world stage. And then, okay, in 4th September, as such, not a big event, but yeah, Atal Tunnel was approved in 2000. Today, Atal Tunnel is a very important point when it comes to connecting Himachal to Ladakh during this Lahaul Spiti Valley. Then 5th September, you and I all celebrate it as Teachers' Day, and it is the birth of Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. So that you remember, he is the second president of India. So that also kind of uh, stays with us as a memory point. 5th September. In 1957, Kerala Education Bill. 6th September. Now this is what is, when you talk of in essay, you can use that India did enter near Lahore during the Indo-Pakistani War in 1965, and this was captured in 1965. If you recall, we on uh, you know on the 3rd of September, counter-offensive started, and on 6th September, India had entered Lahore. And then 1990 Mandal Commission for 27% of reservation in government jobs for OBC. In 1990 it happened. 7th September in 2019. Uh, okay, now that day was when Chandrayaan 2 lost its, it was landing of it. But it was a very important day when the Prime Minister consoled the scientific community or the scientists behind this ISRO, and the world saw that what kind of leadership was provided by PM Modi. And then 2017, now this is September month is kind of known for circumnavigation of the globe. So INS V Tarini, this was a first all-woman naval crew. It circumnavigated the globe. Currently, also they are circumnavigating, and they are right now in, I think, New Zealand. So Lieutenant Commander Rupa and another lady they are doing, and they were just, I think, 2 days back. They were also mentioned in the Parliament of New Zealand. Then on 8th September, okay, this is fine if it is relevant for people from Goa. Then in 1962, Chinese aggregation started 8th September. In 9th September 1920, the non-cooperation movement of NCM led by Mahatma Gandhi started. Now, this is a very important junction of non-cooperation movement. If you recall, in 1920, Mahatma Gandhi's leadership, and Mahatma Gandhi made it a very, very public event, and with lot of increasing the membership of Congress party, he upheld this NCM, and this is in a history lesson considered as one of the non-violent movement, biggest non-violent movement which happened during this time. And if you remember, then 1922 Chora Chori incident, it happened February, although, and because it was non-cooperation and non-violent movement, because violence happened in Chora Chori, Gandhiji stopped the movement, and this happened first time in the world ever that a leadership told to stop the movement and the movement stopped just because of violence. But otherwise, if you see, when 4 or 5 people go together, it is not that without violence they return. So this is something which created uh, terror in uh, British forces, saying that there is some man who can not just tell people to go for a non-violent movement, but also can stop them from doing violence. Whereas the English mindset was always of attack. The war they were the discipline they gave into the forces is one was defense or attack. So with that, if somebody comes, Mahatma Gandhi comes of non-violence and tells people to not take the violent measures, and suddenly they all agree to it and accept it. So that is what made the first impact of NCM, National Cooperation Movement. So it started in 9 September. The next event is okay if you have any points of, if you remember anything, why it was important, because Indo-US economic dialogue in 2001, because after the 1999 nuclear blast, there was for 2 years there's no support of global community, and this is one how it started again, and the dot-com revolution started, and lot of Indian people were giving opportunity, on-site opportunity to US. There's a whole lot of story behind it. That's a very important event for the economic progress of India and Indo-American relations. On 10th September, Garibi Bachao, Garibi Hatao program was launched in 1974. Uh, in 2016, India ratified the Paris Agreement on climate change. Now you need to see these are two different points, but it happened on that day. But it is mentioned. I'm aware. I am hopeful that you're aware about those points. If not, do read the various events of climate change. In 11th September 1893, Swami Vivekananda delivered his iconic speech at World's Parliament of Religions in Chicago. Brothers and sisters of America. That's how he started. And in 1987, Operation Pavan was launched in Sri Lanka by Indian Peacekeeping Force (IPKF). So 11 September holds uh, in the national sentiment this, but also 911 in global. We will study about it in ahead. In 12 September, Mahatma Gandhi and Lord Irwin began the second round of talks in London, part of the Gandhi-Irwin Pact. And in 1994, India conducted its first successful. I know this won't remember, you won't remember, but important here is Chandipur and Prithvi missile and India's defense stories. In 1948, 13 September, Indian Army launched Operation Polo. How the princely state of Hyderabad was integrated. If you, this is very important. It is also celebrating 75 years, I think. Yeah, 75. This 2023 it celebrated 75 years of Operation Polo. So Patel, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel's tactics, and also very important story about how the behavior of princely state of Hyderabad for not being non-included in Indian Union and how it happened. So there's a whole story you should read in the history. In 2008, a bomb blast happened on 13th September. 14th September, the Constituent Assembly adopted Hindi as official language of India. And that is why Hindi Divas or Hindi Pakhwada was celebrated or started being celebrated. So it's the official language, not the national language. So very clearly it mentions official language. And in 2023, the one record happened. India became the world's most populous country. That was on 14 September. 15 September. Now the Indian Penal Code, which is now replaced by Bharat Nyaya Samhita, was drafted by Lord Macaulay, came into force in 1860. People who are IPS aspirant should remember all this. In 1909, Moksha Gundam Vishwasarya was a prominent engineer was born, and this day is celebrated at Engineers Day in India. All the people who are engineers would agree with this. In 1971, Prasar Bharati Act happened and broadcasting in India became autonomous. Multiple radios, multiple private channels could open up after that. So this is from the Indian perspective, what happened in the 15 days. So if you have any question, not feeling sleepy, and you have also creating some notes that, okay, I need to learn from this or learn about this. So then you can give me an opinion. Shall I move ahead, or you have any queries to understand, or any story you want to understand? You can raise your hand and ask if you have any questions, any doubt. But I would want you to collect and write things कि I need to study about it. मुझे इसके बारे में पढ़ना है, मुझे इसके बारे में जानना है. Or if you have read through in some chapter in your previous preparation, go relook at it. Take the internet as a source. But you need to learn very, very important events and timeline of what India has its past. Now, what happens is I also want to notice. I'll talk of something different. So because this nature of exam now, what prelims made every aspirant as a information gatherer. ये भी पढ़ लो, read from this, start reading from this book, start doing MCQs, this so many facts, so many small details. And UPSC has this habit that out of 20 questions they're asking from current affair, one question they will ask in such a deep level now. So if you create a funnel, so this is like level 1, like this, there is the UPSC question is like this. So this is, everybody can view this. You can read in top in every source, it will be there. Everything will be available in any magazine, everything. But UPSC is one has this trend. They will ask something from this deep level, and this will be there in the original source, say ministry's document or something which is very original source, which they do not expect a news reporter to, you know, news reporter to mark important. So what happens is you become, because of this, from the 20 question, one question was so deep, the person who is preparing, or the I told you the elephant example, there will be some trend analyst and okay, we have to go this deep. So for every topic they will start creating notes like this, depth notes. And let me tell you, it becomes so heavy to remember such notes, and all of us get scared. Oh, this magazine, that magazine, ये भी पढ़ना है, वो भी पढ़ना है. Oh my God. But then I realized that not, I have never given 100 out of 100 question. I was never in a position to attempt 100 out of 100. Neither I could ever get 200 marks out of all the 100 questions. So when the reality is that I am going to get a mark of something from 85 to 125, why should I take a load for one question which will go so many deep? Let me remember only top. And the area of my interest, I will go deep. And my interest might not necessary for every topic, I will go depth. They will ask something about ISRO. ISRO has done so many histories, so many record, so many insert, so many PSLV, GSLV. It gets confused after certain end that what, man, I'm not an employee of ISRO also. Why should I remember all these things? Even when I want to remember, I'll open the book and copy, remember, read it from there. So I started creating topics for which I will go in depth: statistics, data, economic data, like those things. Because when you write in mains also, like you don't say that, okay, this is Abhilash opinion. That's why I am writing this answer. No, you say in a recent survey done by the National Sample Survey Organization, it came to out the mobile usage has increased 63%, where the heavy usage is done by the male, wherein the women literacy of digital literacy for mobile usage stands at some 44%. From the latest data by IAMAI, the depth of internet is around 75% in the country, and we stand at rank 4 amongst the internet user. You know, did you get what I just spoke? Was that impressive? You did not get what I spoke, I think. So what I spoke was actually like like when they when you write in mains or something about uh, demography, internet usage in India, or mental health because of digital assets, digital gadgets. So I recall, or I try to write those statistics, which will you help, which will help me use in essay also, in mains also, and also in interview, so that they say, okay, he's not talking his own opinion. He's taken the validity of a survey which was independently done, and I'm just connecting or linking it with something. My whatever I'm saying is backed by a survey or a opinion or some scientific study. That is the approach. So that is what I was trying to say. So this is where this kind of approach we need to make while we mature up our uh, preparation. And I'm telling you, the kind of people you stay with, you certainly become like that. You be with me in multiple, I think fourth, fifth interaction, you or one-on-one interaction, you'll start feeling that your perspective is also changed. You will be able to do it everything, like you will be able to teach 20 people what exactly, you will be able to understand what exactly is relevant, and as per your profile and the way you have seen the world, what becomes relevant and what you need to add. So that happens. Going forward now, let's go to the so it's now 1 hour of our session, 1 hour more. So I'll quickly go through the history of world part also. And the history of world says that in September 1st, as Germany invaded Poland, and World War II started as Britain and France declared war on Germany. Then there was a great earthquake which happened in 1923, Great Kanto earthquake in Tokyo, Yokohama. 1969, Muammar Gaddafi's coup, Colonel Gaddafi of Libya. This is a story when you want to learn about Africa and Africa's condition, you will automatically come to understand about what has happened in Libya and other countries of in different countries of Africa. So this is one important character. September 2, end of World War II, 1945. Next year, when September 2 happens, your brain should automatically click. Okay, today is September 2, World War II was over. Some other event which happens on September 2, you can relate it or recall in your brain saying, okay, 2nd September, World War II got over. Today something happened, I'll remember it like this. So another technique I'll tell you one. So because I told you there were so many facts, so many dates, so many timelines, so it was very difficult initially to remember everything. It was very, very difficult. Even if I try to remember right and do so many things. During the examination time, nothing, everything would used to go blank only. So then there was I asked myself, what is the area of strength? Like, how do you remember dates? So as a I am a very good movie fan. So I used to remember the birth dates of film stars. So entire month of 12 months, some film star will be having their birthdays, or heroines will have their birthdays, or hero will have. I used to remember that because I used to love, I watch movies and whatever it is, like a fan. So I made those as an anchor point. For example, January 10th is Hrithik Roshan's birthday, and one day before 9th January, Gandhiji came from South Africa, and that's why we celebrate Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. Like that, every month had certain which I could relate to. February, maybe Valentine Day, 14 February, I remember it very well. So I started anchoring from that point what all happened in February, and I connected to in my brain. So this is a very small technique of anchoring. This is why many events you will anchor like that. You have your own way of remembering things. Maybe your birthday, your family people's birthday, or some important events of life in particular date or particular month, and you will start categorizing things in your brain. Okay, this is related, this is connected, this is not connected. If you are not able to do that, that is not going to go in your brain. This is a very small technique. Naturally only you do it, but if you try to mug up, then UPSC's prelims question is very, very dangerous. They themselves test whether you know it or not. One or two or three or two only. So these options will only, check your confidence level that at that time. Anyway, so if you go to London today, also they speak about this great fire of London in 1666, and a massive fire broke out in the city of London, destroying much of in 87 churches, 1,000 homes. Now the problem with London or the UK is they attach great in everything. Britain is not Britain; it is Great Britain, Great Kingdom. Fire happened in London, a great fire. Many poems, many things are written about it. A historical event which happened on 2nd September. And in 1960, 2nd September is also the birth of NAM, Non-Aligned Movement. Very, very important for the session, because with India's progress, many times the question comes, does, in the mains, people who are given mains, that does NAM have its relevance still today or not? And in September 3, important again for the Treaty of Paris, it was American Revolutionary War, independence of US from Great Britain. Not for us, but yeah, globally, if you become Indian Foreign Service and you meet people from other nations, you will realize how important this fact is. September 4, now this is one fact which I felt I should include. George Eastman patents the Kodak camera, revolutionized photography, and now access to general public. You know what? And the second, another important is Munich massacre at Olympics. This is very, very important when today we learn about Israel and everything. This will come into the picture of history. You should be aware about it. Now, coming to this point of 1888, you know why today's world is important or become very, very different? Because of only this camera, camera and photography. That has become demography. Democratic, sorry, not demographic, democratic. Now everybody owns a camera, everybody can take a photograph. And a photograph, they used to say a photograph has 1,000 words. And you will realize this, that you are surrounded by photographs and photographs and photographs. Digitally, physically, mentally, you might, nothing is happening, you will laugh because you saw some meme, some photograph. Video is a sequence of photograph also. So this is a very, very important uh, thing. So in UPSC interview, in my UPSC interview, they asked me like, what is the, why this age is called modern age? So I answered that I'm not trying to say good or bad, but I answered that this era is modern because of two things. Number one is space. We are talking about space age, going to space, and from the space, we are talking about space. Number two is camera. The world is surrounded by camera and photographs. So these 2 point makes us different from all the earlier 5,000 civilization entirety. The entire mankind, these are the two areas which we have progressed. But otherwise, if you see any civilization, they all had some or other medium of transport. They were talking about science. They were talking about many things. We are developing that. But what is added in this modern era is space age. We go to the space and see the earth from space. Second, camera. How the things we photograph is also changed. Earlier they used to create paintings. If you go to Salarjung Museum in Hyderabad, so they have photographs or paintings of the royal family of that era. So they will be sitting in a studio and painting will happen. But after 1888, that Kodak camera became popular and many photographs started. So historically, photographs were also quoted from that time. Anyway, it was just for the curiosity I spoke about so much thing. Uh, Again, 5th September for us it is Teachers' Day. So there is a Voyager space program about NASA when you learn about world, and also death of Mother Teresa, Nobel laureate, and I'm sure all of you are aware about her. September 6th, the first usage of British tank in the British Army in World War One. I mentioned September is a month of circumnavigation. So Magellan's expedition. Ferdinand Magellan was the first person who completed the circulation around the Earth in September 6th September. 7th September, Brazilian Independence Day, and in 1940, uh, one event of bombing in London. September 8, people who are Hollywood fans for them. And September 9, foundation of North Korea, 1948. Kim To Sung, its first leader. 1850, California became the 31st US state. September 10, LHC, Large Hadron Collider. It's a particle accelerator. Now this is science and tech. CERN in Switzerland. So God particle was searched in 2008. This experiment in Switzerland. I'm sure you would have read it. This is the era when I was appearing 2008. This was the God particle found headline. So September 11, I told you 911, and Chilean coup. Again, when you talk about world history, Augusto Pinochet is General Augusto Pinochet of Chile is very, very important when you want to understand South America's polity. September 12th, first woman in space for NASA. That was Dr. Mae Jemison. Why this is important now? Uh, Sunita Williams is in space. She's stuck in space. So for India, India is also tracking that what has happened with her when she will be back. She had gone for 8 days, but now has stayed for 154 days and counting. So very important for space era topics. 1897, September 12th, one of the bravest battle ever, Battle of Saragadi or Saragadi. And this is 21 soldiers of 36 Sikh Light Regiment of British Army fought or holded the fort against Fort of Sargadi against 10,000 Afghan tribals. And there is a movie also made on it. And this is something very, very, inspiring on the courage, on the dedication of duty by the soldiers. Ever inspiring for all of us. September 13 in 2007, right of indigenous people. Then Oslo Accords. This is very important when you start reading about current Israel issues and story of Israel and Hamas and what is happening right now. 1840 uh, national anthem of US in September 14. 1959 Luna 2 becomes first human-made object to reach the moon. This is Soviet spacecraft. September 15 so Nuremberg laws, institutional racial discrimination against Jews in Nazi. Now, before the Holocaust, if you have learned about the world history, you will realize. And 2008, Lehman Brothers bankruptcy, financial crisis, September 15. So, first 15 days of September, we have spoken about the world and the history. And please keep on noting about the points which you are not aware about. And you want, if you want to know any history or anything about it, you can let me know. I will also create a video content for it and put it for the benefit of everybody which you are not aware. Okay, and that you can directly message or chat or WhatsApp, not necessary today only, but I want you to read through this and remember how much of you know. You write it, I know it, I don't know it, I know it, I know it little. If I don't know it, try to remember, try to see that from where you can get the source. How can it connect with your GS preparation? Like that. National and international days. And this is very important as you know, when obviously the remembering through Bollywood actress was something as a memory tag or an anchor was a childish for okay in that era or age. Yes, this is how I did, but I now I'm opening up and saying, but actually one should remember through these days, because once you become a government servant or you want to say what India is observing, you should be aware about that. So every day, if you follow, uh, many people put in WhatsApp status, what is it, whatever is that particular day known. You will see news reports coming on that particular day, celebration of that particular day. This happens policy wise, some launches happens. So we will realize, because after reading those days, you'll realize that many announcement of current affair which has happened between 1st September and 15th September, some or other way they're related, why they choose that particular day to announce that thing. So this is very common. Like you want to launch an education program, Teachers Day or World. So there was a National Student Day on 15th of October when for APJ Abdul Kalam's death day. So there they so this like that. Some days become historic and people anchor upon or latch upon that particular days. So 1st to 7th of September is the National Nutrition Week of India. So you will get lot of data, various things about nutrition, various reports about nutrition, food, food bank, all the other element which is a part of GS uh, syllabus, and about the entire element of dependency of agriculture, what kind of production, what is good year of millet, all this kind of stories you will get from that. On September 2, India launched its first Aditya L1 mission. This is for uh, solar events. I think ये ऊपर जाना चाहिए. It should have gone up. It's come here. Teachers Day, September 5. September 7, no event for India as such. September 14, Hindi Divas. And September 15, Engineers Day also. Now, globally, let us go. What is there? September 1, start of World War One, National Nutrition Week globally also. World Coconut Day on 2nd September. Again, 2023 India mission launched in September 2. So repeat हो गया. Skyscraper Day on September 3. Now this is the vertical growth of cities. So human habitation, a very important topic currently discussed all over the world, whether cities are expanding horizontally or vertically. So Dubai as a place, because it is surrounded by desert and limited water, it is a city which is expanding vertically. Big skyscrapers. City like New Mexico City, due to its vast land area, is expanding horizontally. In India, hybrid cities. Mumbai, at certain part, it is only rising towards vertically, and certain part, it is getting closer to Lonavala side, vertically or horizontally also. Like that, when we learn about urban planning, urbanization, you will see this date and this thing will add value to your knowledge. 5th September also declared by UN International Day of Charity. 7th September, Brazilian Independence Day, International Day of Clean Air for Blue Skies. Something about climate change or pollution. September 7, International Day of Police Corporation Cooperation. IPS aspirants, they will understand. September 8, International Literacy Day by UNESCO. Grandparents Day, I think it's in US. World Suicide Prevention Day by WHO in September 10. Now, this is very important issue, especially for a young nation like us. This is increasing. You will be asked many times mains question, also in interview around it. September 11, 911. September 11, Parliament of World's Religion speech. September 12, United Nations Day for South-South Cooperation. When we read about the current event which has happened in these dates, you will realize Prime Minister is traveling across the world. External Minister of India is giving lot of speeches. This is because this is happening around that time. September 13, nothing as such. September 14, World First Aid Day. Good information. September 15, International Day of Democracy. Engineers Day in India and Day of Democracy. So democracy becomes important. Now, with this, we have anchor events. We have events which is, very important on that front. I'll take 2 minutes break. If you have any questions, you're not yet bored, or everything is going above your brain, you let me know. You can unmute and talk also, no problem. My intention was not to overload with information, but current affair is such. But I hope I'm able to give some clarity on some, making your time purposeful. And because we are focused today, right now, at the current moment, see what these 15 days of a revision of what you have done will stay throughout with you for the preparation. I can guarantee on that. It is said from any classroom, bad or good, maximum anybody can recall or recollect is 10%. But if you write a note, you will recall around 30 to 40%. But if you prepare to teach, you will recall around 70 to 80%. So people give that kind of knowledge. Even it happened with me. When I started teaching, then I realized that I am understanding concept a lot because I fear a question might come. A question might come. Now, for that to happen, the your student should also question you. Know? So I am trying to encourage you, do question me, and you know, at least make me feel that my preparation needs more preparation. But don't question random, okay? We should not waste time. Question relevant. And wherever needed to learn, I will take a break, learn, and come back. So I also do not claim that this thing. And in fact, what I want is to have an aptitude and perspective towards this exam. That is my intention. And with this 15 days revision up, if you remember, don't nothing much will matter. Two, three questions will come, you will not answer it. It's okay. You don't have to do 100 out of 100. But still, understanding them, talking about them, what kind of perspective you should have. So, because you're an aspirant, people will expect you to understand many things. Okay, can I move on to the next section? If anyone will say yes, I will move on. Okay, at least one person is there with me till now. Otherwise, I was also feeling the class be like overload or something like that. But okay, I'm sure you would not have expected this also. I hope. But if you have expected and I'm not delivered to your expectation, then do write to me and let me know. Okay, I will improve. So now let's go about this September. What happened first week of September? First 2 weeks of September. First September to 2024. Now, if you remember, every month has when you go to the year end, you will realize there is this article or there is a lot of news. What happens? Recall of events of 2024. So, what are the memorable events, taggable events 2024 should be known about? So, I have put those events. Are they relevant for UPSC examination? Everything. They are relevant for your knowledge as part of current awareness of national and international importance. That ways. Okay. So, if you see the handout you will see, which is right now on my screen, you will see I have mentioned few topics like which came during that time, summarized way. India's special China problem. There was a statement given by uh, external minister during that time. Then 75 years of Supreme Court of India. Then Mission Mawsum approved by the cabinet ministry for having more equipments to study weather in India. Then PM e-drive scheme to adopt electric vehicles. This is not applicable to cars, only for buses and the charging station across the country. Then Bio E3 policy, which is adopted by the Ministry of Promoting Biotechnology of India. Then international affairs, some news is that Canada's visa surge and US asylum crisis. A lot of Indians trying to enter to US misusing the Canada visa. And then the China's hosted FOCAC summit, forum on China Africa cooperation. Very important for geopolitical events. India UAE relationship. Al Nahyan, the current prince of, they have a big name, but I remember the Al Nahyan. He traveled to India during that time, and so India UAE relationship was in news. Then economic update wise, digital agriculture mission. So this was spoken about, and digital India. Then ADB is rating for India for inflation. Then Visio Next and Nidhi companies about a topic on that. In science and tech, Vishwasya blockchain technology stack by India. Then Polaris, Dawn and Chandrayaan 1 missions. Polaris is SpaceX mission by Elon Musk, and Chandrayaan 1 is an Iranian satellite which was done by Iran. Then a conference happened about AI technology where AI risk and governance happened, and it was a global conference. And then BEPI Colombo mission, yeah, space mission by Japan and European Space Agency for Mercury. And in environment and ecology, a cyclone in Arabian Sea, cyclone Asan, was being developed. Then plastic pollution ranking, India has topped in that. In sports, Paralympics, a lot of laurels for India by Paralympics sportsmen. And also parallelly during the same time, chess Olympiad, where India won historic double gold. Very, very important events when it comes to achievements of India. Magsaysay Award being announced, and then National Florence Nightingale Award. Why it is given? These are some prelims type of question. So these questions, these are certain event which happened in those, summarized. But in the presentation to discuss, I have put it on date wise. Okay. So we right now it is. I have another half an hour to go. I'll try to quickly in the next 15 minutes close it. But before that, I also wanted to take you through how I've distributed the UPSC relevant syllabus paper wise. So that you can read through it and see that you are aware about all these items, and detail about these items will definitely need a lecture class uh, or a video. So I intend to, because to reduce burden of, I intend to release videos on relevant topics. So you can let me know where, just for the sake of it, which you feel you want to know first to give a priority, because you're attending my session. So I want to give you priority. So like that. And then there is a section 6 practice MCQ for current affairs. So those integrity and nitty-gritty of topics, it is around, questions are around that. So answers are also written. But these are only 16, 17 questions. I didn't want to publish more. But I have some, because there are other news, other area. So I have a separate stack of current affair which has happened for the month, which I have taken from some created by me and some from a relevant magazine of topic which I feel relevant. Not to bombard you. Do 100, but do it very good. Like that is the objective. But still, I'll try to cover all the relevant, important information. And then I have written certain questions about all the thing paper wise. People who have, you should start writing question and send for evaluation. Don't wait for a good, today is a very good Muhurat, Dev Dipali, and you can start. Even if you don't know, learn from the internet and recall and write it. What you understand, how you write it. Okay, these are certain questions. You don't have to do all the question. Do two question only. It's okay. But you send for evaluation. Let your brain run. Don't wait for a till I clear prelims. Then only I will start writing. Don't go by that. Write a bad one first, so that everybody should shout at you. Why you have written a bad one? Why not to improve? But write. Without writing, nothing will happen. So there are questions. You can just read them, write them, and send for evaluation. Similarly, for essay topic also, there are essay question. I wish, I don't know whether you have done any essay session or you know about UPSC. I have a program for that separately, but I want you to write all those program, all these classes. Everything is fine. It is all about writing. I told in the first starting line of my session. Till the time you don't write in your hand, nothing goes in your brain. So you write and submit it. And because you have attended today's session and I want you to take benefit of the session, you write and send, let me send you evaluation, understand, put me also in whether I'm delivering things or not. So you write, send it for evaluation. My only, and there is this perspective matters again on interview topic. If you want to have a one-on-one session, I will send you the link to schedule one-on-one session and discuss more further about it. You can schedule your one-on-one session with me, and that is free for now because you've attended this session. So you just take the benefit of things which are there. If they're relevant in boosting your preparation, you prioritize things accordingly. Okay. So now my only question is, you have to, I have also given a UPSC format answer sheet. You can download it, or you can, the link is there. It should be working. And, or use a normal simple paper and double margin. You should evaluate, send for evaluation in that. How you do is you write the question and answer or essay, take your mobile phone. There is an app, cam scanner type of app. Sequentially click the photo, make it a PDF file, and then submit it over WhatsApp. I will take 48 hours and reply you with a exact evaluation, with a video of evaluation and scoring and all whatever it is. And then I can also offer you one-on-one discussion on the paper also. Or you can submit through email. But do let me know in WhatsApp that I have sent, and certain approach of doing things. So the last thing I will do is talk about other programs, but let me just run through the what happened sequentially on 1st September to 15th September. So we hear of, because of lot of situation issues in Ladakh and due to India, Chinese coming to their Galwan Valley and things like that, 4 points where India and China are confronting on the border issue. There is something called Working Mechanism for Consultation and Coordination, WMCC, on India-China Borders Affair, which happened during or initiated during 1st September. And there were certain positive response, and there were certain, debatable concerns still latching up. And but an activity or a discussion started during that time. Okay. So this is on Indo-China relation. Then now one I went last from the time PM has become Modi, Modi ji has become PM from 2014. In fact, this is the year I started my revise for is.com also, my first initiative, and teaching professionally. I realized that your syllabus of UPSC has become very wide, because Mr. Prime Minister visits a nation and immediately India and that nation, history, story, everything comes to picture. And we need to remember all these things. So if you have to blame someone that why your UPSC syllabus is uncertain, this is because our Prime Minister is very dedicated, and he increases syllabus because he works 18 hours a day. So he is hardworking more than what we are, and every 18 hours he increases syllabus page or content for it. With every visit he goes to any place in this world, your syllabus increase. So that's not in humor, that's in reality. So PM Modi visited Brunei, PM Modi visited Singapore. So 1st September to 5th September, he was in a travel to Brunei, Darussalam, Brunei's capital, and then uh, while coming back, he went to Singapore and this thing. So this is India's foreign relationship. INS Malpe and INS Mulki was commissioned. It is two frigate ship commissioned in Indian Navy during this time. So these are built in Cochin shipyard. So Indian defense production wise, a highlight. On 2nd September, when we wake up, we see Minister of External Affairs talking somewhere that India has a special China problem, and which is different from world's China problem. And he categorically mentions about India-China relationship, which is has a historical nature from the ancient civilization time, and today those two nations are competing, and how India-China relationship has changed in the last 2 decades. India-China relationship highlight on that. Then during the same time, Mission Mosam was approved by cabinet. Now this was to take equipments and to study weather of India and predictability of weather. Now you all use mobile phone. In the screen it comes today it will rain or not rain. How all this data or weather forecast happens because of uh, high end equipments. We are currently using data of, or these mobile phone use currently data from the US satellite, but you would have heard that various satellite data of India also the world purchases. So Mission Mosam is going to use or empower India's weather studies. Then, in the end of uh, a, a very, August was a very bad month when it comes to safety security of women, and for that matter IAS aspirants, the flooding which happened in Delhi, the kind of life they stay, all that thing. So it was a very very moving heart, disheartening month. And RG Kar Medical College incident actually moved the entire world, and some or other way India is not learning. And during that time, uh, the state government uh, released a bill called Aparajita bill. And if you read more about it, you'll realize a similar bill is also in Andhra, Disha bill, and in Maharashtra, Shakti bill. Now, we can have a separate session on understanding all these things. But for now, to note that some bill or some law is, bill means what? A state law is being made. So if a state law is being made, what will happen with if a law is made? Either somebody will obey the law or don't obey the law. If you don't obey the law, you become criminal. A justice system will come into action and you can be prosecuted. So we need to have first a bill in the parliament or in the state government, this thing to create a law, and then the state machineries will act to convict somebody under the law and prosecute, and justice will be provided. I hope you know the process, but just for clarity. 3rd September, news started coming by the Supreme Court's 75 years journey, and a constitution, a constitution themed something was done where they spoke about 75-year celebration and highlighted the journey of Supreme Court, various case, and there's a beautiful article which came in the paper. Then OpenAI was in news for its project Strawberry on 3rd September, and Niti Aayog suggested something called as Public Health Emergency Management Act. It is a suggestion. Act has not been done. It is suggested. So this is something to act for, like COVID scenario happened, COVID-19, the readiness for such health emergency. It is just a suggestion. It is not an act. On 4th September, I mentioned Modi's trip to Brunei and Wawasan 2035. They are celebrating 40 years of their independence, and they have a vision plan called as Wawasan 2035, 50 years. So he contributed that India partnership in doing that. Then Home Minister Amit Shah was there in a digital summit and AI summit and governance. So here, there he spoke about cyber commandos. And Modi ji spoke about digital arrest. Very, very problematic situation happening these days. Some or other way, your opinion will matter to this. You might have become a victim. Anybody of you have become a victim? Fake call coming from TRAI or from some 97 number talking about your shipment has been caught. It has some amount of drugs. ऐसा कुछ आया? कोई कॉल कभी आया किसी को, आपको, आपके आपके घर वालों को? No, I think you have. So you have not become victim of it, but this such cases have been increasing. So please be aware. And if anything of this thing happens, whole lot of fraud is happening around it. So do not pick up calls coming from 97 or any outside the country. India's code is +91. Or even if it comes from +91, somebody talking about saying that I'm calling from custom office, things like that. Your parcel has been caught. An FIR has been happened. Talk to the police. I will connect you. Don't entertain such calls. They might they take information from your own digital footprint and try to scare you with that, but don't fall for it. Okay, now then, there was one development which happened. This is something, revival of MOSPI, Ministry of Statistics. So there was a standing committee to understand various data point that was dissolved, and it was replaced by a steering committee. Now this is why it is necessary important development, because you remember India has a census system, and from 2011 the census next should have happened in 2021, but due to COVID it did not happen, and the census has not yet happened till now, and all our economic data is backed upon the census data. Currently, the economists in the world or countries are saying that because India does not have a recent census data and basing its growth on 2011 based data, we will not be able to predict it closely. So that's why an active committee has come. And by Ministry of Education, there is something called Commission of Scientific and Technical Terminology, CSTT. They created a platform called Shabd, which has terminology of science and everything in all 22 Indian languages. Okay, let me ask a question to all of you, just whether you are sleeping or not. Let me check. How many languages are there on Indian note? Indian currency mein, how many languages is there? In Indian note, how many languages are there? Okay, all of you are sleeping, that means. Okay, I do understand. Today, I think saturation point has been reached, but as we are an aspirant, we have to slowly increase the volume of our learning. I take a workshop of 10 hours for 4 days, 40 hours during revision, assuming that people are focusing, have the concentration, have the willpower. So it is not just challenging for you to attend, but it is double challenging for me to stay relevant every second. So do let me know, do participate if you have any question, thoughts. So don't stop. I don't want to listen anymore. I'm bored of your voice. You can write all that thing. My voice is okay or not? Or do I have a very nagging voice? I cannot help much. I'll try to use some AI voice then. Anyway, now that you're not, I think you've just entered. Okay, thank you for response. At least somebody is here listening. Okay, on 5th September, Bio E3 policy is launched. It is about biotechnologies and India's story of biotech revolution. This is going to be very, very important. E-drive scheme again for electric vehicles. It is said it is incomplete because it does not have anything for the private car buyers. It is only for bus and recharge stations by 2026. 6 September morning, the news comes that Port Blair to be renamed as Sri Vijayapuram. So now this is renaming of it, and ancient Chola time they had this Sri Vijayapuram name. So there is a whole article about it, how Port Blair was found and how it was important strategically for British. So Port Blair is also the place in Andaman and Nicobar. It is the capital of Andaman and Nicobar. Andaman, it falls in Andaman, and Port Blair has the jail, cellular jail, where Sazai Kala Pani. It was called Kala Pani, and historically, it has a lot of importance. All the freedom fighters were thrown there, including Veer Savarkar, who wrote in 1906 the first book on War of First Independence, 1857. Then a topic about caste census, should it happen or not, debate, good or bad, came into the picture. Many state government were asking for caste-based census, whether it should happen or not. And for people who are getting ready for interview, this question is very common to be asked. The moment you say that I come from this state or that state, are going to ask because it is very, very pertinent these days. And after RG Kar case, legal validity of lie detector test in Supreme Court, there was an article. So it is important for us, especially people who are aspiring for IPS. On 7 September, the news says Canada visa issues, and then the Sunita Williams extended stay, and then a concept called as universal basic income, because in the gig economy, it is very difficult to have a regular income. Universal basic income topic is spoken. 8 September, Iran launches its satellite Chamran 1. And there's a news item which says Namibia plans to kill its majestic animals for meat. They are going through heavy drought, and that's why they are kind of trying to say that we will kill zebras, elephants, and so many things. So, and for feeding our population, we are at a national drought. So now, why this drought has happened in Namibia is due to El Nino and La Nina concept. We need to understand that why such drought has happened drastically in African nation due to this weather phenomena. Then there is a typhoon Yagi which has flooded Vietnam, and a national disaster for them. On some AI summit happens, and Amitabh Kant speaks about citizen stack and 5 sutras of digital infrastructure, very important for mains in government infrastructure, digital infrastructure. On 9 September, Al Nahyan, Sultan or Prince of UAE comes, current prince, to India for 3 days visit, and India UAE partnership is spoken about with Modi ji and other ministers. SpaceX Polaris Dawn mission. So it was by Elon Musk, private persons going to space, not the astronauts. So this was the achievement. On 10 September, IIT releases something called as India's status report on road safety. Curious, very important. You'll realize where do we stand. India-Bangladesh relation, in Bangladesh had a different regime change and entire revolution and the things happened in Bangladesh in August month. In September, Muhammad Yunus, Nobel laureate, was given the reins of Bangladesh, and he had an opinion about how the relation should happen. India also provided four-point approach to stop Russian-Ukrainian war because in the subsequent uh, fortnight, India has to, Modi ji was to travel to Quad summit and meet Putin and uh, in Kazan. So there was an opinion around it. On 11th September, that is 911, Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana announcement happened, and the details of the policy you need to collect from newspaper how it is going to benefit 70-year plus citizen of India, what kind of amount of health benefit it is going to give. With 75 years of Supreme Court, this was the line which was spoken: citizen first, dignity first, justice first initiatives by Supreme Court. So this becomes a very good topic for essay also. Then Maldives president also came to India during the same time. India-Maldives talks was also boosted. A summit happened on semiconductor revolution of India in on 11th to 13th September in Delhi, where India's semiconductor policy and various activities, various startups, how much kind of investment, and you would have heard of something called Nvidia company and Reliance. So India's semiconductor story is being sketched. So that is being spoken. In 12th September, Cyber Commando, there was a summit by Home Ministry where Amit Shah mentioned about it. And first board meeting of Anusandhan National Research Fund, ANRF, under scientific fund for science for this thing happened in the leadership of PM Modi. Then Cyclone Asla in North India, which happened in Arabian Sea. It's a very rare cyclone formation. If you are a geography student, you will understand. But just for a common sense, I would say that in the ocean, there is hot water layer, cold water layer, hot air layer, cold air layer. So which creates low pressure, high pressure bands. So because of two water circulation of Arabian and Indian Ocean, so between the ocean itself, there was a creation of low pressure which happened. And the best part is, if you see, this is India, subcontinent of India. So this is Indian Ocean. This is Arabian Sea. This cyclone started moving towards this part. Earlier, these cyclones of Arabian Oceans were formed in Indian Ocean near this Dubai and all that area or central this thing. But this is one unique because it happened where Arabian Sea and two Indian Ocean water, these two interacted. That is a low pressure was created and cyclone was formed. Hence, it is unique. On 13th September, Central Constitute 23rd Law Commission. This is a short question coming in prelims. Firstly, the number, what is a law commission, who are the members. A digital aggregation mission initiative was announced, and a acronym came into news called West Asia and North Africa, WANA. 14th September, as the name debate, once the name change happened, a lot of debate also happened. Tripura Peace Accord. So there were Tripura and Northeast has a lot of insurgency. You need to know the story behind it. Now, this insurgency, there were one group of armed rebellion who gave up in front of in Home Minister, and a peace accord was signed. So We had also, there is a lot of effort going in stopping the insurgency in the northeast section of India. Battle of Saragadi commemoration. I spoke about the battle in previously. On 15th September, Paris Paralympic India's performance and the shoved platform. I think it is repetitive over here. And it was Engineers Day. So with this, I complete today's GK session. I also want to talk about, if you can unmute and also stop me in between if you want to ask any question further. I also want to talk about my other programs over here during this time, which I have mentioned in the handout also. So there is a essay program which I take for 6 weeks. It is a 5 session program, and 5 full length test happens and evaluation happens. So it will start from 3rd December. So if you are a part of the free study program, there also I do it, but it happens in our own pace. But here it is an exclusive program, and so if you want to be part of it before prelims, this is the only batch I'll take for essay. And if you have any query about it, you can WhatsApp me. I know the query will be on the fees, but I have not mentioned it over here, except this current affair thing. So if you are interested or want to know more about it, you can reach out to me on WhatsApp on this. Then I also do GS mains answer evaluation paper 1, 2, 3, 4. So now this is also one-time fee and unlimited personalized evaluation. Whenever you write, you submit it and you get the evaluation answer also, a time for one-on-one this thing. So again, this is unlimited answers. Questions you can evaluate. So I don't say that I will be giving questions. Use the previous year question, use any reputed coaching institute questions, any test series you have joined anywhere and you want to get it evaluated, cross evaluated, you can do it on that if you want to be. But it's just that to get the, I told about it's about the perspective and attitude about this aptitude about this exam, which you will gain a lot. So that's very, that's where I come over here. So you can, if you are interested, you can be a part of it. So there will be a current affair foundation program, because I also understand many people do not understand how this current affair operates, where is the backstory, and who will tell the backstory. So I have created a foundation program which is for around 30 hours, where we talk about the India as a state and country, world as a multiple nation, and various conflict zones of world and various development of the world and progress which has happened, to build a foundation. After that, any news which comes into picture, you will be able to connect and relate. Okay, this is happening in this region because there is a past history and things like that. So this is for basic understanding and for conceptual clarity. So ideally, this should come from self study, but I have a lecture based module over here, storytelling kind of a thing, and where we can discuss. So this batch will start from 12th December, and this will be the only batch before prelims. Then I also offer personalized mentoring session for people, and that also it's like, one-on-one interaction every week, and I help you track your study progress and doubt clearing on this thing. So that is for entire attempt. The interview program, now this is only after mains result comes and people are giving the interview. And the perspective wise I've mentioned in the study sheet also. So we discuss through the DAF and all the details, do a mock interview, and there's a part of it, a lot of activities around it. And especially people who are giving repeated interviews are unable to crack. We discuss out, figure out a way how things can come in our side. And now coming to this program is till May 2025, bi-weekly session. And so you get all the details about current affair, mains, and the way you saw the handout. And it is 1100 plus taxes only one time. Today's session and 29th November session is demo session, and I want people to attend and understand and discuss if they find it relevant or not. Give a feedback to me as well. And definitely I would want to improve and I would want participation. So the only benefit is here because I ask you to send your questions for evaluation. I spend time, so I have put a nominal charge about it around it. Apart from that, otherwise the session is also available just for the sake of session in YouTube. It is available. I'm streaming it also live right now. It is unlisted, but I'll edit it and put it listed, or I'll put it in public. So I don't want aspirant who are serious enough to miss out on anything, because this is the attempt, is the final attempt. With that approach, we take up the thing. So with this, my session is over here, and I would now close the recording part of it. Thank you everyone for your participation, and we can do the discussion now. So the recording is over, and